Hello everyone, Kier here. This episode is going to be a bit different. I usually try to keep it pretty light. And even when I've had criticisms on this game, I have tried to balance that out with perspective that things can improve. Before I launch into this, if you do not know, this week we had High Voltage Overdrive launch. And from the previews, it seemed like it was a pretty fun mode that would have a similar shop to the things that we've seen before. And what we got was a pretty fun mode with some extremely alarming practices that lead a very bad taste in the mouth. To some of the situation, the Marvel Snap devs, who by this point are entirely independent, made it so that Kid Omega, the card featured in this mode, the Series 5 card, they made it so he cannot be earned reasonably through just playing the game mode. On its face, that would be whatever. But it's not only impossible for a free-to-play player to get this card, they are trying to establish going forward that in order to get a card in this mode, you are trying to earn a discount on that card, and this card is going to be missing from the Series 5 pool in the shop for a period of time. In this case, I think they've said 3 weeks after the event concludes. There's really no way to beat around the bush here. High Voltage Overdrive has just introduced a straight-up pay-to-win mechanic. Kid Omega is extremely good. I think from most of the previews, and I need to reiterate, like, normally I would be happy to talk about the new cards that are released and all that new stuff, but I can't skip past this. Kid Omega is being seen in a lot of lists, and it makes cards like Nimrod insanely good. It's like Venom on crack, and there's only a tiny fraction of the player base who is able to get this card because they wanted to pay for it. So, over the course of this week, I've seen lots of content creators and regular old players talking about how this is a problem. Even if they had given us better communication around this event on how it was going to function, this is a predatory tactic to get people to have the feeling of missing out and buying the card with their money. The only exception that we've seen to this sort of rule is the Battle Pass, right? Like, there is a clear gate for people to get that card. The excuse that works is that the Season Pass offers a ton of value, and if you are going to spend money on the game, that is the best way to spend your money. This is the worst kind of way to spend your money. You're literally only getting the card. It's more expensive than any other card that's ever been released in the game. And after a good amount of time, 3 days or so, Second Dinner dropped a response in their Discord. I'll save you the spiel. It's a very long paragraph of words that basically boils down to, this was the plan. This has always been the plan. We are going to continue doing this, and we're sorry we didn't get that to you sooner. That's completely unacceptable. I can't describe to you how frustrated I am that this is the direction they chose. I play this game pretty casually. I log on a couple of days of the week. I don't always get my dailies done. I usually get, 3 or 4, I'd say, a day. So I know that I'm not the most engaged player. I'm also not being paid by Second Dinner. I'm not an official content creator. I just do this because I'm passionate about it. So, I understand the stakes for this, for me, are actually a lot lower than a lot of people. The only thing keeping me in this game is the fact that I like it, right? This just feels like a slap in the face, truly. After the monetization changes to the way that we earn tokens and the snap packs, I've seen a lot of people come back to this game. Just in my personal life, I had a longtime friend, Daka, who hosted the show with me. He came back to the game and we played some games. My brother picked up the game again, and things were looking up to me. I was finally feeling like this game was going in a good direction. And this just feels like a complete and utter failure of understanding. They seem to be concerned about the way that they communicated this to us, as if telling us sooner that this was going to be the case would make us less angry. I don't even care that I can't get the card. It's not even my kind of deck. The problem is that it sets a precedent. And usually on the show, I don't talk about data mines, but this is relevant to the conversation. It's been data mined that in the super premium season pass, the one that usually just has like some borders and some whatever, that will now also contain an exclusive card. So before, if you paid, the $10, you get the premium season pass card and variants and whatever. But now you have to buy both if you want to have the extra card. And again, I need to reiterate, it's wrong either way, but if those cards are good, like really good, it is just straight up pay to win. And there's nothing more despicable in a card game than pay to win. And you could argue that there's sort of an element of that in most card games, right? If you buy more packs, the chance of you getting a better card is extremely high, but there's an equal chance for everybody. And even in those card games, right? I mean, if you have a buddy, you can swap cards and do different things, right? Like it's way different than the circumstances in Snap. Frankly, I was really not excited to make this episode because it feels like we're all on the bow of the Titanic shouting at the captain of the ship saying, "Hey, there's an iceberg coming." And the captain gets on the loudspeaker and says, "Sorry, I didn't communicate that the iceberg is coming." It's like, what's so hard to understand about this? We don't have any insight into who made this decision, if it's something that they've done just to be greedy, or if it's because they're not meeting metrics that they're supposed to be meeting. Whatever the case is, it is just not okay. They're not the same game. But I look at a game like Marvel Rivals, which is free to play, you only pay for cosmetics. And despite them losing a majority of their player base, they've only added more free rewards over time. There's always a catch, right? There's always like hey, if you pay more, you can get more stuff. Like they have these limited time battle passes that you can do. And the paid premium track obviously has a lot of the cool stuff, but they're still giving players an incentive just to log on. And for that reason, like I, as a consumer, feel way better about spending my money there than I do right now about Snap. Like I don't feel any trust for Second Dinner right now. It feels like they just, in one fell swoop, cut all the years of trust that I put into this company in half. And I wish that it wasn't this serious, but it is. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably pretty into the game for one reason or another. And for me, I mean, I've loved the Marvel property. The card game that this is really appeals to me. The art is fantastic. There's a lot to love about this game, and especially the community, right? Like, I've met some incredible people who have put their heart and soul to this game, and just watching a bunch of the content creators that I look up to go on camera and talk about how nervous this makes them feel. It is just the suckiest feeling in the world. I do want to say that, like, the future of this podcast, as long as this game continues, is pretty certain, but I don't know how much more I have left. I gotta be real. I've gone through a lot of down periods with this game, and a lot of that stuff was repairable, because I can make my own fun in this game. I don't have to get the new card every week. I can get certain things that make me feel a lot better about it. But if they're just going to lock certain cards behind a paywall, I can't afford it. Just to be frank with you guys, I just can't do it. So I'm not saying that this mode in particular has destroyed the game, but Second Dinner's response, saying what they said, just screams that they're doubling down. This is the direction that they want to continue in, and that's troubling for me. This episode wasn't exactly put together in a very essay-like way. I'm sort of just talking from the heart, but I really, really hope that they reconsider this. I don't have a voice, really, in all of this, and I have to give a shout-out to It's Guest Gaming, who I think we all can agree has put a lot of work into building this sort of connection. He seems to be really passionate about this. He's trying to mediate some things. And I could just go down the list of all the content creators that have really contributed to this conversation. I also really, really appreciate that some of the bigger guys in the community have also made the time to post about this. This is going to kill the game if it continues. And there's no two ways about it. You can't do this second dinner. I don't know if you listen or not, but you just can't do this. We'll be back to a regular episode next week, assuming that the game doesn't blow up. And I'll probably cover some of the more fun stuff then. But for right now, that's what I have to say on the subject. Thanks for listening.